bench, laying down the law. Fair and impartial, the best you ever saw. Harris County's finest, keeping justice alive. Everybody rise for court number 5.
You are Juan Morales DWI. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow, so you are facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Morning. On December 1st, 2024, at approximately 12:11 a.m., the officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle after observing it failed to maintain a single lane as it drove from the second to the fourth lane without using a turn signal, nearly striking the officer's marked vehicle. The vehicle continued to drive outside of the marked lane as it drove north on Hillcroft Avenue, and upon contact with the defendant, who was in the driver's seat of the vehicle, the officer detected an odor of an alcoholic beverage, glossy eyes, and slurred speech. The defendant admitted to drinking prior to driving, and standard field sobriety tests were attempted. However, officers were unable to observe HGN because the defendant was unable to follow instructions. Walk and turn, 5 out of 8 clues were found, and one leg stand, 3 out of 4 clues were found. The DIC was read, and the defendant consented to breath. The results were .191, .188.
Okay. Any prior PIs?
No, Your Honor.
Have you run it?
There's no driver's license on record, Your Honor.
It's got to run something. If you can run an NCIC, an FBI number, just let's make sure he doesn't have any prior DWIs. Just because it says a DWI first doesn't mean anything.
Yes, sir. We run that, and there's no prior.
Okay.
There's no driver's license.
Mr. Morales, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. Are you a United States citizen?
No,
Are you in this country with or without permission?
without permission.
What happens if you go to jail, Mr. Morales?
I don't have any idea. I don't know.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
Please call sin permiso. I'm without permission.
So what happens if you go to jail?
Entonces, ¿qué le pasa a
I want you to think about this.
Piense acerca de esto. Yes, you're right. I shouldn't be doing this here.
Immigration sweeps the jail on a daily basis, every couple of hours. If they find you in the jail, they will put a detainer on you, and you will be stuck in custody until this case is over with and then shipped off to immigration. You will sit in jail for about 6 to 9 months, if not longer, waiting for all that to happen. If you do not want that to happen, then don't violate my laws, don't endanger my public, and follow my conditions. The first condition is you're not to drive. You don't have a Texas driver license, so you're not allowed to drive, and I'm making that a condition of your bond. You will be signing a promise with me today indicating that you're not going to drive, and I don't care what your deal is. I don't care what your excuse is. You cannot justify getting into a car for any reason. If you do, you will go to jail, and I can have a contempt hearing and hold you with another 180 days and a $500 fine every time you drive. Likewise, no dope, no illegal drugs, no alcohol. You will be randomly tested. You test positive for drugs or alcohol, likewise, you will go to jail. You have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. It says, I have Sharma.
That's it. It's the other Morales. It's Juan.
The top of
Oh, okay. You have a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with counsel. If you lose out of contact, if he tells me that he can't get hold of you because you're playing games, likewise, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Mr. Morales, you will not get any more warnings. Heed this, take this as it is. If you don't, we have only one place for you.
Okay.
All right. We'll have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. We'll get you to Ramona to sign a reset. You will get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and after that, you're free to go. Thank you. Carlos Ulloa Hernandez, come up. Gentlemen, I'm bringing all of you here now because I don't want to repeat myself 15 times. All of you stand charged with driving while intoxicated. All of you are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause on each of your cases. Each of you have the right to remain silent, the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Let's start with Mr. Acosta.
The officer initiated a traffic stop after observing the defendant drive without headlights at 8 p.m. Upon contact, the officer observed red glassy eyes and an odor of an alcoholic beverage. The officer called the Spanish speaker to assist, and in plain view on the passenger front seat, the officer observed an open and an empty bottle of alcohol. The defendant
Drinking while driving, is that what you're saying?
There was an open container, Your Honor. And the officer conducted standard field sobriety test. The HGN was unable to be completed due to the defendant's failure to follow instructions. The officer then transported the defendant to JPC, where DICs were read. The defendant consented to breath, with the results being 0.132 and 0.140.
Did you say the stop was
For driving without headlights at night.
Mr. Acosta, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. All right, let's go with Mr. Mason.
Yes, Your Honor. On November 29, 2024, the officer was flagged down by a witness at Tomball Parkway. The officer observed the defendant's parked vehicle on the #1 lane northbound feeder road with hazard lights on. Upon contact with the defendant, the officer observed the defendant to have red glassy eyes and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted to drinking prior to driving. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 1 out of 8, and one leg stand 0 out of 4. The DIC was read and defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.093 and 0.089.
So he was by himself?
He was by himself, Your Honor. He was just stuck on, park. His vehicle was parked in northbound feeder road with hazard lights on.
Okay, I see it. All right, Mr. Mays, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case as well. Lastly, Mr. Ulloa.
Yes, Judge. On December 1st, 2024, officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle after observing it run a red light at an intersection. And upon contact, the defendant was observed to have a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, red glassy eyes, slurred speech, and was stumbling. The defendant stated he was coming from a bar and admitted to drinking prior to driving. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The DIC was read, but the defendant refused, and a search warrant was signed and executed.
Have you checked on all three to see whether they have other DWIs, prior DWIs?
Acosta has no priors, Mesa has no priors, and Ulloa also no prior DWIs.
Gentlemen, I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you are not in this country with permission and you go to jail and immigration finds you, they will put a detainer on you and you will be stuck like Chuck in custody until these cases are over with, and then you will be shipped off to immigration, or you will sit for another 6 to 9 months waiting for immigration to do whatever they're going to do. If you do not have a Texas driver license, you are not allowed to drive. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Are you a United States citizen? Are you in this country with or without permission, sir?
Sin permiso.
What happens if you go to jail? What did I just tell you? Did you hear anything that I just said?
Vuelvo a mi país. Regreso a mi país.
And how long will you sit in custody for that to happen?
9 meses, 6 meses.
Likewise, are you in this country with or without permission, sir?
Without permission.
You understand everything that we said? You as well. Are you here? Are you a United States citizen?
With permission.
What type of permission do you have?
I work.
I don't know whether you're lying to me or not. And Mr. Ulloa, it really doesn't matter. But I'm trying to warn you of the consequences of what happens if you go to jail. It really makes no difference to me whether this, whether that, I don't care. All I know, gentlemen, I want my streets safe. And if you don't have a Texas driver license, you're not allowed to drive. Each of you will be signing a promise with me that you're not going to drive. And I don't care what your reason is. If I find that you drive, and I don't care, Jesus comes from heaven and needs to ride to church. You get into a car and drive, we will have issues. Do you understand?
Yes,
Do you understand?
yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? Likewise, I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any illegal drugs, likewise, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds for you. Do you have a Texas driver license?
No, I haven't gotten it.
What's funny?
No, que siento culpa porque pude haber evitado muchas cosas.
No, I just feel guilty. I could have avoided many
Stop.
things.
I don't want you to say anything. You're in enough trouble as it is right now. Don't make things worse for you. The only three things I'm asking for you: don't drink, don't use illegal drugs, don't drive, and stay out of trouble. As long as you can do that, gentlemen, you and I will be fine. If I find that you're a danger to my public, I will put you over my knee, treat you like a child, and spank you like a child, but I will do it with a ton of jail time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. We're going to reset each of your cases to give you time to hire a lawyer. So what's going to happen now, gentlemen? I will have you come up here. Each of you will sign a document promising me that you're not going to drive. After that, I will get you to Ramona, where each of you will sign a reset. We're going to get you out of here for you guys to go hire a lawyer. After that, you will each get with Felicia for your bond conditions, so you sign and so you know exactly what you can and cannot do. After that, you will be free to go. Gentlemen, you were lucky that you're not in custody now. Make the most of it, because the next time you go to jail, you may not get as lucky. And I'm telling you, on any given day, I have about 10 people that are sitting in there with immigration detainers. Don't push your luck. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Lamberg. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 1st, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle after observing it operating with an expired registration, traveling north on Kirby Drive. Upon contact with the defendant, the officer observed the odor of alcoholic beverage, glossy eyes, and an open container on the passenger side door.
An open container.
The passenger side door, Judge.
Standard field sobriety tests were performed. HGN 4 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The DIC was read, but the defendant refused. Blood search warrant was signed and executed.
Stop for as
Expired registration, Your Honor.
No driving facts, Judge.
what do you mean?
It's not like he ran a red light or failing to maintain a single lane. It was simply the registration.
Get it? He's got an open container. A year and a half ago, he had one dismissed.
I understand, Judge.
Do you have any more details? Is it cold to the touch? Is it halfway down?
Passenger side door.
I know, but people can put it in the passenger side door, Marcos.
Kind
You
of
know,
far.
No, Your Honor. The only details we have are in the passenger side door.
you don't have any more information. I mean,
Information about the container, Your Honor.
And we don't have the office report yet, Judge.
Correct.
We just want, that the DIMS don't clarify whether it's cold to the touch or warm to the touch.
how long? Because if I find that it's an open container, I'm taking away his privilege to drive. And I'd like to know, because
All the officers, Judge,
okay,
check.
yeah, absolutely. Mr. Lamberg, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm also now putting a prohibition on your license. You're not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. If I catch you driving without an interlock, I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand?
Understood.
You will not get any more PR bonds. If I find that you have an open container of alcohol in the car while you're driving, I'm going to take your privilege to drive away from you. You're not allowed to drive for any reason. I don't care. Do you understand?
Sure.
Likewise, if I find that you drive, you will go to jail, and I can have a contempt hearing because I'm going to have you sign an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't care if there's a burning building and 15 kittens that need to be saved. You drive, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand?
Sure.
I don't know yet, Marcus. If he's got the open container, it's going to happen. If it doesn't,
Judge,
then I'm
again,
not.
SUV, it's an open container on the passenger side door. And I'd have to look at all the facts of the case, Judge, and talk to my client, but, you know, I've never seen a case where the open container is on the passenger side door. It seems to me,
If there was possibly someone else there, I get it.
that's exactly.
But, you know, little ingenuity goes a long way, as they say. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, perhaps he didn't see the furtive movements. I don't know. It was late at night. What time was this?
Your Honor, this took place at midnight, Your Honor.
I don't know. Let's see what they say, and then we'll go from there. For now, I'm going to have you come up here, swear to this for now, and then I'll destroy it if they don't say that it's an open container. I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Moreno. We'll get you with police for bond conditions. You have a lawyer. I will waive your appearance while you have the lawyer, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with Marcos. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, then I'm going to revoke your bond. You pick up a new case, you consume alcohol, endanger my public in any way, it's over.
Sure.
Say it again.
The deputy doesn't answer the judge.
So just to be clear, Judge, is he able to drive with the interlock, or you're saying he cannot drive?
I mean, I guess I'll give them the benefit of the doubt now because I just don't know. But can you reach out to the officer? And then if you find that it is an open container, it's like cold to the touch, halfway, drunk, come back, let me know, and then I'm taking it away. For now, I'm ordering you not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an interlock on it. And that's it. I would hope that it's elementary that you understand you're not supposed to have alcohol in the car while you're driving. Elementary.
Thank you, Judge.
Please. Good morning, Ms. Fisher. Ma'am, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. Is elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Judge. On December 1st, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle at approximately 12:01 a.m. After observing it nearly rear end a parked vehicle on Alameda Road and failed to maintain a single lane by driving over a solid yellow line. Upon contact with the vehicle, the officer observed the defendant to be the driver and sole occupant and observed the defendant to have strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, and bloodshot eyes. The defendant admitted to drinking, and upon stepping out of the vehicle, the officer observed the defendant to be staggering while walking and to have poor balance. Center field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 6 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.249 and 0.229.
249.
Yes, Judge.
Any prior to the guys?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Fisher, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I don't know if you have a problem with alcohol. If you do, you better address it, because if you don't and it becomes a problem, I'm going to address it for you, and I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand? And no alcohol from any source. Do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Full coverage.
Okay, you can continue to drive, but just be careful. If you lose insurance, lose a license, you're not allowed to drive. For what it's worth, no alcohol, no illegal drugs. If you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance so you don't have to waste your time coming to court. But stay in touch with counsel and he'll tell you when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're ducking and dodging, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Okay? All right. I'll have you sign a receipt with Ramona. We'll get with Felicia for your bond conditions, then you're free to go. All right? Thanks, guys. You are Jose Castillo. Mr. Castillo, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. While patrolling, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle nearly strike his own vehicle and failed to maintain a single lane despite other vehicles within the vicinity of the defendant's vehicle. The officer initiated a traffic stop and observed a moderate odor of an alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, and glossy eyes. The defendant admitted to drinking at a party. Standard field sobriety tests were then conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 6 out of 8, one leg stand 4 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant initially consented but then withdrew consent. A blood search warrant was signed and executed.
Any prior DWI?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Castillo, do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir.
You're not allowed to drive. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising that you're not going to drive. I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is. If I find you drive, I can. We'll have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time your happy ass gets into a car. Do you understand?
Sir.
If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance. But onto that point,
I apologize. He had a license. He said yes, sir.
I say yes, sir.
well, you have a license.
Yeah, I say yes, sir.
You said you didn't have a
He
license.
said yes, sir.
I said
I heard it the same way you did, but
He said he didn't.
no. I did. I said
I
yes,
heard
sir.
yes, sir.
Can you run his license?
Eligible, Your Honor.
Great. Okay, you can drive. All right. I heard no.
I heard that.
For what? Don't drink. Don't use any dope.
Yes, sir.
Don't drink alcohol. Don't use illegal drugs. As long as you don't, you and I will be best friends. Don't pick up any new cases. I'm not asking much from you. You've got great counsel. Listen to them. They'll take care of you. As long as you don't pick up a new case, you don't drink, don't use illegal drugs, we'll be fine. All right?
Sir.
Maintain that license. If you lose that license because of one reason or the other, you can't drive, and they'll, tell you about it. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but stay in touch with them, and they'll tell you when you have to come back to court. All right?
Sir.
Judge, just to confirm, you can drive?
Yeah, just no drugs, no alcohol, Randon days. So I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. We'll have you get with Felicia for your bond condition. Then you're free to go. All right?
Thank you, Judge.
Sure. Thank you.
Sorry for the scare.
Have a good day.
All right, thanks. Good morning, Mr. Duvall. Sir, you're charged with assault causing bodily injury. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a disturbance with a weapon. The complainant advised that she was in her home when she heard someone knocking loudly on the front door. When the complainant's husband, the witness, opened the door, he and the defendant started arguing. The complainant stepped between them to try to stop the fight, and the defendant shoved her, causing her to fall to the ground and hit her head, causing pain. The witness told the officers that when the complainant fell, the defendant called her a dumb bitch. And when the officer spoke to the defendant, he stated that he went over to the complainant's house after the complainant and the defendant's wife got into an argument. The defendant then stated that the witness chased him with a machete and a baseball bat. The officers did not find either of those items at the
Wait.
location.
Who said that?
The defendant stated the witness chased him, but the officers did not find him.
Okay. Do we know if she still wants to have contact? Have you got the rip done?
The rip was done.
Yes, Judge. I spoke to this complainant. She's requested no contact. I think they're neighbors. They live about a mile away from each other. And then she's just requested that he's not allowed to come to her property either.
But the bad blood is, I guess, between the gentlemen as well, though.
I think it's between
Right.
both families. She explained to me that there was a argument that was started a couple months ago, just between them, and then it's kind of been ongoing since then.
All right, Mr. Duvall, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Don't have contact with these people. I see there's bad blood, but it's just not worth it sitting in a box 6x9 for months on end because it's just some bad blood. Just don't go back over there. Don't have contact with them. Don't be in possession of weapons, and then everyone's happy.
One question, that is my aunt's house. So sometimes I do have to drop stuff off.
I would use someone else.
Yes, sir.
The problem is that I don't want you to go over there.
Yes, sir, I understand.
One day they're accidentally there, they start popping off to you, and then boom, you're the one that's on bond for this case. So even if they call the cops and it's not true and they start, fibbing and saying this, the cops come out, they're going to be on you because you got the open case.
Yes, sir.
So when you get into a pissing match with people with authority, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to lose, right? So it's best to prevent all that. So that's why we do this.
Yes,
So
sir.
just don't go over there, don't have any contact, and then we're all happy.
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living?
Construction.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yes.
What kind of money do you make a month?
Well, I just got back to work. I make right at 25 an hour.
If you want time, I can give you time to hire a lawyer. If you have any issues and you're unable,
I use Juan Vasquez. Juan Vasquez.
is that you want to go hire this person? Then?
Yeah, I will hire him. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do now?
I was told that I didn't need a lawyer because more likely this would be thrown out. And,
Do that.
And
Anything?
no, Mr. Vasquez, it says something.
I don't see how anyone can say that without.
Because
Okay, fine.
I didn't.
So I get a bunch of DAs here. Everything you say is recorded. They use it, so just don't. Better to have the lawyer work on it to try to work it to your favor, but just don't say anything now because anything you say, they're going to use it against you. So I'm going to have you sign a reset with Ramona. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box. I'll get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it, and then after that, you'll be free to go.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Flores. Ma'am, you were charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. Officers were dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a family disturbance. The reportee stated that her brother assaulted her father, and the officer went upstairs to make contact with the brother. The officer could hear yelling inside the bedroom and instructed the brother to come out. The brother opened the door but refused to come out of the bedroom and then closed the door on the officer. The officer entered the bedroom when the defendant, the brother's wife, stepped in between the officer and the brother. The officer attempted to detain the brother for the assault investigation, but the defendant continued to step in between the two.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm not going to put any conditions on your bond. Just be careful. You know, when you get into a pissing match with people with authority to arrest, who's going to win? Right. Just be careful. What do you do? How old are you, man?
30.
What do you do with yourself these days?
I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I work.
At an elementary school or?
Goddard School of Katie.
Would you like to apply for an appointed lawyer, man?
Yes.
Okay. Stephen, I'm going to give you an application for an appointed lawyer. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Ramona. We'll have you take a seat while we just wait and try to find your lawyer. Okay? Please. Good morning, Ms. Funes. Ma'am, you were charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. Officers were dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to an assault. The complainant, the defendant's mother, told the officer she was driving the defendant to work when the two began to argue about the complainant's driving. The defendant then grabbed the complainant's hair and began hitting her in the head and chest, causing pain. The officers
While driving?
While driving, yes, Judge. And the officers observed a red mark on the complainant's face.
You know, if mom wants to have contact. Ms. Funes, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I typically don't allow contact when we have this kind of situation where someone has picked up an assault against another person.
Your Honor, RIP has not been performed yet.
Okay. It appears that a protective order has been issued in this case. I would get to know it because if you do something to violate the protective order, like go to the house listed in the protective order, have contact with someone listed in the protective order, the state can and will file a violation of a protective order against you. That is the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up, so you must be very careful. Until I know that she wants to have contact with you, I'm ordering you not to have contact with her. Do you understand? I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of any weapons as well. Do you work, ma'am? What do you do? What kind of money do you make a month? Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer? I'll have you fill out an application. I need you to be honest. please don't just put zeros. I'm going to send it right back to you. I need to know everything about you, how much money you have coming in, what kind of car you drive, if you own a house, property, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, what expenses you have. Let me take a look at it and I'll see whether you qualify. Okay? Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions. All right?
I'd like to ask for permission to go pick up my belongings. Everything I have, everything I own is in that house.
Let's do this. Let me have you fill out the application, see whether you qualify for a lawyer. If you do, we'll have you talk with a lawyer and we'll work something out. Okay? Please. We'll come back to you and we'll work something out. Please. Good morning, Mr. Garcia.
Good morning.
Sir, you were charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On November 29th, 2024, officers responded to a call for service made on November 28th, 2024. The complainant called and stated the defendant, who she was in a dating relationship with for 2 years, was sitting outside her apartment. The officer met with the defendant before the complainant, who stated he saw the complainant talking to male friends, which made him upset. The defendant stated he approached the complainant and slapped and pushed her. The complainant stated that she was in the kitchen when the defendant suddenly became angry. The defendant approached her and slapped her on the left cheek, which caused her pain. The defendant proceeded to push her on the ground and then punched her on the left arm above her elbow area. While she was on the ground, the defendant kicked her on the left side of her body and struck her on the shin and below her knee. The defendant also struck the complainant in her abdomen, which knocked the wind out of her, and the officer observed a red and purple bruise on the complainant's arm and other redness consistent with an assault.
See if he's on probation or parole at this time, please, Alex.
I'll see, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case, and I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with this person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I want you to understand something, Mr. Garcia, that I'm going to protect every person in this county. And if I have to take you down, dragging, kicking, and screaming and putting your butt in jail to protect everyone, I'll do it in a heartbeat. If I need to make your bond $50,000, $150,000, $10 million, I'll do it in a heartbeat to protect every single person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You are not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Sir.
And Your Honor, he's not on probation at this time.
There is a protective order that has been issued in this case. I would get to know it. If you violate this protective order, the state can and will file a violation of protective order. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up. You violate conditions on a VPO, I can hold you at no bond, zero bond, and I'll do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand? We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you first go to Ramona, sign a reset. After that, I'm going to have you go to Felicia if your bond conditions, and after that, you're free to go. Take care in my free world, because if you don't, I'm going to take it away from you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Sir, you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. Officers were dispatched to a disturbance at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant, the father of the defendant, told the officers that the defendant was being aggressive toward him and other guests because he was intoxicated. The complainant advised the defendant does not live at the house and was temporarily sleeping on the couch. The defendant began yelling at the officer and quickly approached him. The officer detained the defendant. In the living room, the officer observed damage to the wall and rug, as well as broken dishes. The damage was approximately $800.
Damage? I didn't hear.
I'll check the damages. I see that he told the officer the defendant was being aggressive toward him and other guests, and the officer observed damage to the wall and rug. And let me
Wonderful. Who did that?
There was I apologize. There was
It's
a
okay.
witness, I think it was the defendant's brother. So the complainant, the owner of the house, had stepped out of the house. And while he was out, the witness, the brother, observed the defendant, break dishes and punch holes in the wall.
Okay, so you have a witness that puts him breaking the stuff.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm now ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. I want you to understand one thing and hear me clear, Mr. Johnson, that if I make your bond $5,000 to $10,000 because you violate conditions and you don't have anyone to pony up that kind of money, you will be stuck like Chuck until this thing is over with. So consider this when you're out there in the free world. Because if I find that you violate these conditions, you go back to this house, you start breaking more property, I'm going to put you in custody and I'm going to make your bond high. You understand?
Sure.
How old are you, sir? What do you do for a living?
I'm a caretaker for my brother. My brother's legally blind, so caretaker for him.
You earn money from the state for doing that.
Sure.
How much money do you earn money from the state?
$900 a month.
How much time does that take of your day to take care of? And how old is your brother?
Brother is 33. Takes about 4 hours, 5 hours a day.
A week?
A day. Well, 5 hours a day. So,
Did you want to apply for a court-appointed lawyer, sir? Okay. I'm absolutely serious when I mean no drugs, no alcohol. I'm telling you now, I'm going to test you like crazy. And if I find that you're using, especially while you're getting paid by the state, if I find that you're using, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand? Take note, because heed this warning, sir. All right, I'm going to have you, Stephen's going to give you an application. I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Victoria. We're going to have bond conditions created for you. You will sign for these conditions, and then we'll find your lawyer, sir. Come on. Oh, wait. Sorry. You're not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case. You're not to go back to this house. Do you understand? You're not to be in possession of any weapons as well.
I will say, Judge, I did speak to the complainant, his father. He does want to continue to have contact. He said that the defendant has apologized and he's not letting him stay there anymore, but he would like to be able to have contact.
You know, Mr. Johnson, there are people in this life that when they drink and when they use, they become very happy people and they're fun to hang around with. You know, they're the life of the party. They make jokes. They're great. And then there are those that when they consume, they develop horns. They are not nice. They start to be aggressive. They beat everybody up. If this is you, then don't use. Do you understand? Because if you cannot control yourself, because I'm going to tell you now, 90% of the people that we have, no self-control. And it gets worse when you start using. You understand? Okay. I will allow contact, but you're not having threatening or harassing contact with the complaining witness in this case. What is threatening or harassing doesn't matter what you think. I could give a rat's ass what you think. It's how they perceive. So if I go like this, it could be very well threatening or harassing. So if you go back home and we find that you start acting like this, I'm going to put you in custody. You understand?
say something?
Sure. I don't want to talk about the case. I'm just giving you the expectation of how we are going to move forward. That's it. I just be nice. It's not hard. And if consuming makes you devilish, done. Got it? All right, come on. Oh, then yeah, we don't need it. Morgan, what do you say? What say you as far as
I don't think that would be necessary, Judge. He said that he can still visit the house. He just can't stay there anymore.
you know what I am going to do? Come over here. I'm entering this protective order. This protective order identifies Mr. Madden as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon. This usually comes with a residential restriction, so you cannot go back to the house. I will take that off so that you can go back. But I'm telling you, You now have a protective order in this case. So if you threaten, if you harass, they now can file a new case on you, a violation of protective order. And if you get one of those, I'm telling you, things will go sideways extremely quick. You understand? Okay. Ma'am, you were charged with 2 counts of assault. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine on each of those cases. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On November 29th, 2024, officers were dispatched to an apartment complex regarding a disturbance, an unknown weapon call for service. Upon arrival, the officers met with 2 complainants and a witness who advised that the defendant is their cousin. The first complainant advised that after the defendant called her downstairs, the defendant pulled her hair and pulled her to the ground. The defendant then assaulted the first complainant with a closed fist multiple times on the left and right side of her head, causing pain. The second complainant advised that after she saw the defendant kicking the first complainant's head, she attempted to stop the defendant. However, the second complainant was hit from behind by a second defendant with a closed fist on the left side of her face, and then proceeded to get assaulted by both the defendant and a second defendant, causing her to feel pain. The witness stated he was hit by the second defendant when he observed both complainants getting assaulted and attempted to separate the parties from fighting. The witness advised he saw the first defendant hitting both complainants with a closed fist and kicking them in the head and on the body. The defendant admitted to assaulting the complainants, and the officer observed visible swelling and markings on the complainants' faces.
Is there a co-defendant?
I couldn't see anything connected, Judge. when I
No, Your
looked
Honor, there's no
yesterday.
connected cases. Your
Yeah,
Honor.
so I spoke to one of the complainants yesterday because the other one only speaks Spanish, so I can only speak to one of them. And she told me that for some reason the police only filed charges on this defendant because she admitted to it. I believe is what happened, but also, Judge, I just wanted you to be aware that there were like major injuries sustained by the witness and one of the complainants, and they were all
bad?
checked out by HFD and all were checked out by HFD, and 2 were transported to Memorial Hermann Hospital Southeast for further evaluation.
I mean, serious bodily injury to where a felony can be filed?
It depends, I need to request the medical records, Judge.
Was alcohol or drugs, did that play a part?
Not from what I'm aware of, Judge. It just seems like the defendant came to their father's home, which is where the complainants were, and then demanded that one of the complainants come outside and then she started beating on her.
Is there a familial relationship? Because it's charged as just an assault. Was it a
So-
family member?
So the 2 complainants and the witness are all siblings, and they're cousins with this defendant and
Yeah.
the 2 others.
Yeah.
So it is a family relationship, Judge. The complainant does want no contact and
Okay. Ms. Moreno, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have contact with any of the complaining witnesses in this case. You understand? I'm ordering you not to go back to this location, and I'm ordering you not to be in possession of weapons. How old are you, ma'am? You're 17 years old. Are you a United States citizen? I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, I'm telling you now, I'm going to put you in jail. If you don't have anyone to pony up 5,000 to 10,000, you're going to be stuck in jail. I don't want to have to do that, but I want you to understand that I'm going to protect my public at all costs. Do you understand? You know what? I'd like to send her for a drug test right now. I'm sending you for a drug test. If you fail the test, if you fail to come back, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. You understand? I'm going to have you go take a drug test. We're going to have you come back, and then I'm going to have you talk to a lawyer here momentarily. Do you understand? Come back, because if you don't, I will issue a warrant, man. Okay, just take a seat. Man. Good morning, Ms. Perry. Ma'am, you were charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. On November 30th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a JCPenney in regard to a theft. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, the loss prevention associate, who advised that the defendant walked to the Levi's department with their personal infant stroller, grabbed several clothing items from the store display, and then walked into the elevator area to conceal the items. The complainant advised the defendant then went to the men's and kids department using the same method to conceal more stolen property. The defendant then walked out of the store into the main part of the mall, passing all points of sale. Security attempted to stop the defendant outside the store, and the defendant fled on foot back to the store where she was tackled by loss prevention. Total cost of the items was $415.
All right. Ms. Perry, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now not to go to any JCPenney. You understand, man? If I find that you go back to JCPenney or you pick up any new case, I will revoke bond, put you in jail. You will not get more PR bonds, man. How old are you?
17
What do you do for a living?
right now, so I play sports.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Eisenhower.
You're in high school.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you want to apply for a court-appointed lawyer, man? Would you like one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You need a lawyer to represent you. I'm telling you now, you're 17 and you've now picked up a theft case. A theft case is probably one of the worst cases that you can pick up because you get one of those on your record, you're branded a thief, and no one hires thieves. So be careful out there. All right. I need you to fill out an application for me. So Steven's going to give you an application. I'm going to have you take your seat in the jury box after you sign your reset. I need you to fill it out for me. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions, and then we'll have you speak to a lawyer here momentarily. Okay?
And there was state conditions, correct?
Yeah, state. Yeah. So can you file? No, going back to JCPenney.
Just to clarify, all JCPenney's?
Mhm,
Okay, yes, Your Honor.
No JCPenney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Give me a second. Let me see if we can get you out.
Ms. Perry's mom wanted to see if you could add, making sure she goes to school and no drugs on her bond
Oh.
conditions.
Where's mom?
Mom,
Come on up, mom. Miss Perry, come on up. Give me your last name again. Hey, did you file conditions on Duval?
Yes, Judge, I believe
All
so.
right, come up. We're gonna have you sign your bond conditions now. We'll have you give you a reset so you can get you on your way. Okay? Sure thing. His parking's about to expire, so let's just get him out. Right now. Okay. Sign. Hi.
How are you?
Thank you so much for coming. So, tell me what's going on with Miss Perry. Is she acting up?
She doesn't act up, but around the wrong crowd, I don't want her to act up. I don't want her to hang with the wrong crowd. I don't want her to go far.
Okay.
So I just want her to make sure she's going to school and not getting in trouble.
We can make every single thing that you want a part of her bond condition so that if you start messing up, I have one place for you. We have schools in the jail and you can graduate from high school in the jail. It's your choice. You want me to send her for a drug test now to see if she's using?
No, sir. Because I already know the answer to that.
But you know what?
Yes, sir.
Sure you want me to test her? Because I can. I'm not going to.
No, sir. I don't need her to get tested.
So you're not to smoke weed. You're not to use anything that has THC in it. I'm going to test you 45 days from today. And I'm telling you, if you test positive, I will put you in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't use and stay in school. I can give her a curfew if you want. I can make her stay at home, come to home 10 o'clock at night.
No, sir. I don't need a curfew or anything. I just want her to make sure she's at school. That's my only condition.
Okay, we'll make everything that you want. I can make it a bond condition. But the problem is, though, is that if I do this and she's acting up out there, you have to be with me on this. So if I put her in, right?
Yes, sir.
Because if she knows that she can get away with stuff, when the cat's away, the mice will play,
Absolutely.
right? So are we together on this? I have no problems putting you in custody. Start acting up, Ms. Perry.
Yes, sir.
The last thing that you need is a theft conviction. And the other thing that you are desperately need in this life is a high school diploma. As a young Black woman in this life, it is so very difficult. You should never, ever have to rely on a man. You need knowledge. Knowledge is power. And I'm telling you now, if you get out there in life and you don't have an education and you don't have anything to do in this life, you're never going to make money. You're always going to be dependent on someone else. And it really sucks because the divorce rate in this country is extremely high because with life, you get older, you get bigger, you get fatter, we lose hair. Life doesn't get easier. It gets more difficult. And if you don't have some kind of education, good job, and you got to rely on some other man, forget about it. Be your own woman. Be strong and have an education. Because otherwise, life's going to suck. Life sucks without money. Do you understand? No more dope, and I will test you 45 days from today. Okay, Mom. We'll make all those bond conditions. We'll see. Good morning, Mr. Fan. Sir, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On November 27th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, where they met with the complainant, the defendant's wife, who stated she and the defendant had been sitting in the living room talking about the defendant taking money out of her bank account without her permission. The complainant stated she started cursing at the defendant, and the defendant lost his temper and slapped the complainant in the face on her right cheek with an open hand, causing pain. The defendant admitted to slapping the complainant because they were arguing and he lost his temper.
All right, Mr. Fan, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Guys, do we know if she wants to have contact with him? Anyone?
The rip was performed and contact is okay, Your Honor. And furthermore, based on the rip, the complainant stated that no residency restriction is needed as she's staying with her friends.
Okay. Mr. Phantom, well, she's staying with friends. Does that mean that she doesn't have contact?
Well, she said that contact is okay. She's fine.
Mr. Fan, I want you to understand that a protective order has been issued in this case. Get to know it, because if you violate this protective order, the state can and will file a violation of a protective order against you. It's one of the worst cases that you can pick up. Do you understand?
Sure.
As it stands now, I typically order no contact unless they want contact, but I am ordering you not to have any threatening or harassing contact with the complaining witness in this case. What is threatening or harassing doesn't matter what you think it is. It's what she perceives. Do you understand?
Sir.
You're not to have any weapons as well.
Sir.
We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you come up here. We'll have you initial this protective order. After that, we'll send you on your way. Do not pick up any new cases, because I'm telling you now, I'm going to protect my county in every way that I can. So you understand?
Sure.
All right. So if you can file no threatening, harassing, and then no weapons, please.
Yes, Judge.
All right. All right. I'm going to have you sign a reset, and then we'll get a fine.
We'll have to have them on the first.
All right. We'll have you sit in the pew while we wait for your bond conditions. Do not leave until you sign our other bond conditions, sir.
Can I ask a question? Can I decide it because my pocket ticket also expire?
Say it again.
My pocket ticket it expire.
It's gonna be a while, so what I'll ask you to do is leave me here, this cell phone on the edge of the desk, go pay your parking and come right back up.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just come back, because if you don't come back, I'll issue a warrant.
Yes.
Understand? Okay. Ms. Randon, do you have a lawyer today?
Sir.
Okay. This case is 300 days. It's time to do something with this baby. So, Ramona, do you mind appointing her a lawyer? You're not allowed to leave, ma'am. Your case is way old. You've taken off on me multiple times. We're going to take care of this. Take a seat for me. Do not leave, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Mr. Wenzel. Is it Wenzel?
Weinzel, yes.
Weinzel?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Weinzel, you're charged with assault of a family member.
Sir.
You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officers were dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a disturbance. The complainant, the defendant's nephew, and the defendant lived together and were involved in a verbal argument regarding house chores. The complainant told the officers that the defendant struck him once in the face with a closed fist, causing pain. Officers reviewed cell phone video of the incident and observed redness and swelling where the complainant was struck.
Say it again.
Yes, Judge. So their officers were dispatched to a disturbance at a residence. The complainant, who is the defendant's nephew, lives with the defendant, and they were involved in a verbal argument regarding house chores. The complainant told the officers that the defendant struck him in the face with a closed fist, causing pain. The officers reviewed cell phone video of the incident and also observed redness and swelling where the complainant was struck.
And what's the age of, are we talking a young, don't, please.
20-year-old, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you spoken to this person?
Yes, Judge.
Tell me.
So he lives, the complainant lives with his grandmother in that house. The defendant lives on the property, I believe in a shed in the back, and then he's permitted to use the kitchen and the washing machine and things like that. The complainant just asked that they have no threatening or harassing contact. He didn't request a full no contact because he does kind of use that house and they live at the same address.
Is that dangerous? The problem is, Mr. Weinel, is, I don't know what kind of relationship you have with this person. And it's a 20-year-old. 20-year-olds are like volcanoes about to erupt, and you never know when you're going to catch a 20-year-old on a good day, you're going to catch them on a bad day. And the last thing I want is for you to pick up a new case. So it scares me that,
we're not having no contact. We're not associating with each other. And
but the problem is that you're invariably going to run into him again.
good, we're not.
So what do you do with yourself? Do you have an income?
Total, I'm 100% disabled.
Okay, so let's do this. I had a feeling whether I was going to give you a lawyer or not. So I think the thing that we should do is let me give you a lawyer. We can talk about the dynamic, how to go forward. But the last thing I want is you to accidentally run into him. You guys have more beef. You guys end up fighting again, and then more charges are filed. So let me appoint you a lawyer, and then we'll figure out. For now, no threatening or harassing contact with this person. I'm issuing a protective order. So he has a protective order in his favor now. So if you violate this protective order, they can file additional charges against you. Do you understand? But look, there's probably one already as it is. Yeah. On December 2nd, they issued the protective order. Second.
Take off the residency restriction
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah. But understand, everything else in that protective order applies. So it's no threatening, harassing, Remember, it doesn't matter what you think, it's how they proceed. All right. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you step over, sign a receipt with Ramona. We'll have you find a seat somewhere, and then I'll have you speak to a lawyer here momentarily. Sure. Morning, Ms. Wilson.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you were charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. On November 30th, 2024, at 9:03 p.m., the officer was traveling eastbound on Katy Freeway when the defendant's vehicle drove behind the officer's vehicle and began continuously flashing the vehicle's bright lights at the officer. The defendant then proceeded to drive around the officer's vehicle, almost striking his rear right bumper, and the defendant also failed to signal a lane change. And upon pacing the defendant's vehicle, the officer discovered the defendant was traveling 100 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. The traffic stop was initiated, and the defendant was stopped in lane 1, putting both the defendant and the officer in danger due to moving traffic, which the officer then moved the scene to a parking lot.
Some kind of medical emergency or anything? Just
No, Your Honor, no statements regarding anything.
Ms. Wilson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
Yes.
You want a license?
I'll run it, Your Honor.
Shh. Do you have liability insurance in your name? Do you have car insurance? Okay. What do you do for a living, man?
Sorry.
What do you do for a living?
I operations expert.
What does that mean?
Show my position as operations expert.
And how much money do you make a month?
I am on FMLA right now, so I'm not working necessarily full time due to that.
So how much money do you have coming in a month? Okay, we're gonna reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. I want you to understand that if I find that you're driving like this, I'm going to take your privilege to drive away from you. You're gonna sign an order today promising us that you're not going to drive recklessly, no racing, driving in this manner. If I find that you do, I'll tell you, living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive really blows. Just don't. All we want our streets to be safe. Do you understand me? Okay. I'm gonna have you sign a reset with Ramona. After that, we'll just have you take a seat. When we get your bond conditions, we'll have you sign it, and then you'll be on your way, man.
If
You make quite a bit of money. You have to qualify for an appointed lawyer, you know, be at or near the poverty line. And when you make a lot of money like you do, which is great, I can't just appoint your lawyer. We don't give them like candy because I have a limited amount. And if they can only take so many cases. And if I give you one, I might not have one for another person who really, really needs it, you know? So we'll give you time though, and you'll have plenty of time. And remember, there's a gajillion and one lawyers in Harris County. Negotiate with them. Say, you know, hey, I can pay this much. 90% will put you on a payment plan. And don't take up a first blush. Renegotiate with them. They say, okay, I'll charge you this much. Okay, well, I can do this much. And then I can pay as we go, you know, a couple $100s a month. And then they'll, but remember, it's like buying a car. Don't go to a Ferrari dealership. Don't go to Bugatti. Go to what? Okay? Okay, man. Please don't leave until you sign our bond conditions. And if you can file no reckless driving, no racing,
Yes, Judge.
etc. Please. Okay, please. Mr. Beltran, you're charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to. We need to fix this. This is the chart. This is not right. It's 30 days and $500 fine.
that's what we press,
Okay.
that's at the end.
I need you guys to initial this because this is wrong here. The range of punishment is 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Beltran, I want you to understand that this reckless driving is going on your record. And I've already advised you this before, that the legislature has made it really easy for DAs across Texas to take and seize cars from individuals who participate in this type of action. This now is going on your record. You start acting the fool in a car again, and you get pulled over and they charge you with either racing, reckless driving, or something like of this manner. Get ready to lose that car, because I'm telling you, I've had person over person in this court have their car seized because of multiple actions like this. Do you understand? If you want to act like this, go to a special place. They have them in Houston. If you want to race, if you want to do stuff in this nature, they have proper places, but not on our freeways. You understand? You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. What's your question?
My license suspended still.
Can you run his license, Alex?
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to suspend your license, but I don't know if it's already suspended. If it is, don't drive, because driving on a suspended license is a Class B misdemeanor, just like a DWI, just like any other, Class B, and can land you in jail 6 months.
It's eligible. There's no.
They're showing that it's eligible.
I'll get my driver's license.
Don't drive until you get your license and car insurance. I'm going to tell you, if you get into an accident and you kill someone or you create $30,000 worth of damage, they're going to come back and they're going to sue you for car insurance for $50 a month. You pay an insurance company to represent you in the in the event that you get into an accident. They have lawyers that will represent you. That's why you pay for insurance. I have someone who wrote me recently say, hey man, I need help. I have this company that's coming after me for $50,000 and I don't have money to hire a lawyer. Because that's what happens. You get into an accident, you break someone's property, they're gonna come after you. You have to hire a lawyer. You understand? Get car insurance. How do you plead to this offense? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty. I'm gonna sentence you to the agreement. It's 3 days in jail. I will give you credit for the 1 day that you've done. All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All right,
Judge.
please see the clerk.
I believe the allegation is that she was to report on the day before Thanksgiving to give a UA, and she was out of town, so she did not report and let me know where she was. So she's here today.
They ever call you to take a test and you fail to go, I will revoke your bond and put you in custody. Do you understand? It's unacceptable. You have bond conditions. You're supposed to live up to those conditions. And when you don't, there are serious consequences. I will not give you another pass. I am sending you now for a drug and alcohol test. I want to make sure that you're not using. But I don't care if you're in Abu Dhabi. There are certain conditions for you to follow. You're supposed to let us know if you go somewhere so that we know. But you can't just go and expect good things when you. So I will continue your bond now. I am sending you for a drug and alcohol test, but you're now on notice. If you miss again, that's it. You understand, man?
Who do I come?
Your lawyer,
Okay,
Mr.
so
Brooker, can always talk to me. We can talk about if you're going somewhere, you know, how we go forward.
And Judge, FYI, I believe Ms. Stevens did attempt to call me. My office was closed the day before Thanksgiving, so I didn't speak with her until afterward.
You can't expect, if you're going out of town on Wednesday, don't call it Tuesday, 6 o'clock at night and expect something. He's got a life as well. You know, it's not his fault. You, if you know you're going somewhere, you have to give him and us advance notice. And that's it. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thanks. Please, man, just take a seat.
Is she okay to sit out in the gallery, Judge?
Yeah, for sure.
You got your things? Okay.
Tristan Smith.
Hello?
Tristan Smith.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I'm disappointed in your behavior now, Mr. Smith.
Sir.
You have bond conditions that you are supposed to live up to. You have failed to live up to those conditions.
Yes, sir.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a courtesy to come here on Monday to come take a drug and alcohol test. If you fail to come on Monday, then I'm going to revoke your bond. And I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yes, sir.
You, Mr. Smith, have to understand you probably don't have anyone in life that is prepared to bond you out of jail if you go there. You need to keep this in mind. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can make it here to downtown to take a test. It's not a matter if you can, it's if you want to. You can find a way, and I expect you to do it on Monday.
Sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Let me make one more thing abundantly clear to you. If you ever miss another drug and alcohol test, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
That's it. I'm not going to entertain any more excuses. I don't. That's it. Okay. All right. So on Tristan Smith, SSBF Monday must be here. And on Stephen, just a normal reset, pending results, I guess. So if it comes back, then hopefully we're sending her for a, no, we'll just send her on her way. If it's dirty, then we'll deal with it next week. Which I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Ready? Let me do this. You're free to go, Mr. Smith, or we'll see you Monday.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, take a look at the scram report.
Sure, of course. You have it?
Spice and yes, I can't load it on my computer right now, I don't know why. But I did take a look at it before I came in. Do you have it on your computer?
Let's do this also, JP. Let's do this. I'm sending him for a drug and alcohol test. I want to know if he's clean regardless. And we'll go from there. We'll see
Yeah, so
whether
these
he's
spikes.
clean as well. It's okay.
This is the buildup of it, and then it's gonna dissipate from here. It's confirmed as alcohol consumption because of the slow dissipation out of the blood system, or out of their system over an extended period of time. So the minimum
So it's
requirement
like
of those hours is
probably
gonna be 3.
2 drinks, 2 beers, 2 shots.
From 11:23, Judge, at 12 p.m. until 11:25 at 12. It's over it's like over a 3-day period. And it's registering alcohol at all, like, I have a time at all hours, Judge.
Well, it's gonna stay in the system at all hours, even if they drink multiple times of the day, even if it's just 1 or 2. What's gonna happen is
see
it's
it
gonna
go
have a
back up?
spike. Yeah, there's like little spikes at the beginning. So you're gonna have a spike where they could have some alcohol. It's gonna drop down as it dissipates out of their system. Then they could have another sip of that drink. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go down.
The spike was 0.01, Judge. And then the highest was 0. Okay, the only reason I'm arguing this, Judge, is it seems strange to me. I've seen the scram reports. I've never seen one where it's like a microdose
Let's
or
do
a
this.
small.
I'm going to send him for a drug and alcohol test right now. I want
Thank
to
you.
know if he has any dope in the system, and we'll have him come back and we'll.
Okay, can we also request a trial date? Because I think we're gonna head that way anyway.
Sure, of course.
Okay.
But I want to know what's going to happen on the report here, and then. But yes, get a trial date, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Your Honor.
For sure. Take a seat for me, Mr. Phelps. No, I ordered him to go take a drug test. You failed to do it. You didn't do it. There are consequences for action, dude.
I went. I just couldn't go.
Sir, he just couldn't.
I stayed till 5 o'clock.
They give you water. There's no reason why you can't go. I had a lady the other day, she had 5 bottles of water to be able to go. She was there for 4 hours. There's no reason why you can't.
I asked for water. They told me there's a water fountain that didn't really work on the 5th floor.
Judge, we know what the outcome of the drug test is going to be. He has not, he's been forthcoming with me from day one about that. And he does have probation in writ court pending as well. And I
He's
think
still using Kavita. It's unacceptable. And I can't just let him go because he's just going to continue to use. He's going to continue to do what he wants to do. And it doesn't work like that. You've done nothing on your probation. I ordered you to go take a drug test. You didn't do it. There are consequences to action. And he now goes with you.
I understand, Judge, he is possibly going to go to status on writ court.
I think that's exactly what we need. No, that's what we need. And I'm going to tell you now, I will not let you go. I can keep you for the next 3 years until you come clean. We will continue to dance together. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I'm not running from anything. I mean, I don't mind going to take a test right now. I just couldn't go.
Mr. Morales. Gave you the opportunity. That ship sailed. I gave you the opportunity on this DWI. I've given you multiple chances. You have literally done 0 while you've been on this probation. So, you want a back rub too?
I'm not asking for any leniency.
In life, when you put your heart and soul into it, you can achieve damn near anything. That's what's so great about this country. You don't live in other places where you don't even have internet. You can do anything you want. Mind over matter. I've given you chance. I've given you after chance. And you've repeatedly failed and you continue to use. Now I do it my way. Goes with you. Sorry to be.
Judge, I've got Jared Matthew Romero. He's on a DWI PTI. He's completed just about everything on there except for the restitution, and that's why PTI are asking for a 6-month extension.
Romero, come up.
He had $3,846.35 in restitution. He has $2,200 of it. He's in the
paid, or
well, he saved up because they want it all in one payment. So he has 2,200 saved. So he only
How do
needs.
you know?
I'm sorry?
How do you know?
That's what PTI reported on their email, Judge. That's what they're telling me.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. I think it was, you might have been CC'd on it, but if not, I can forward it to you. But I sent it to Victoria.
You want to go to jail. You're begging for it. I'm telling you, you're begging for it. You're not in compliance. And when people don't comply, we have one, I mean, you just saw what happened.
But he was in an accident, so he was out of work for a while. He's also in the Marine Corps Reserves, so that's where he's drawing payment or pension or whatever. But I mean, he's trying. He's only 1,600 away. I mean, they were asking for 4,000. Nobody has 4,000 just to cough up right away.
I get it, Joe, and I'm with you. But what I would like to see is a faithful monthly or bi-weekly payment into some kind of registry so that we know he's serious about completing it. I'm just not going to reset it for 6 months and for hopes and prayers and gumdrops and dreams that he gets it done. We've tried that. We've given him an entire year, right? Or at least, I mean, it's 587 days. I'm not doing that. Now I have to micromanage, right? Because you're not able to do it on your own. So let's figure out, you tell me what is a good amount bi-weekly that he can put into some kind of registry so we know he's serious. And Joe, I'm not asking for hundreds and thousands, right? But something reasonable so that we know he's serious. The next time you fail me, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand? I don't know how else to put it to you, but I'm going to tell you now, a DWI conviction is completely going to hose you for just damn near anything. I have people that come here that tell me they can't get an apartment because they get a DWI. They can't go to Canada because they have a DWI. They can't get a loan for a house because they have a DWI. They want to go to Cash Pawn America to get speedy cash, denied. So it really does affect you, not to mention how much your insurance is going to skyrocket. It's stupid silly how bad a conviction will hose you. So I guess just let me know what you think,
But he's done everything else, the classes and everything else. This is the only hang up is money.
So I just want to, let's find what's reasonable, Joe, and I'm down. I'm going to give you the time. Right. It's not a question. But I want a good faith effort on his part that he's actually paying, not just a hope for it and set off 6 months. So you let me know, and I'm happy to do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Let's see. Your number one focus now in life should be in education and doing as best as you can, because this is a step ladder to the future. You can either go up in life or you can go down in life. And right now, you were headed down into the swamp. It's not going well. You have to change. Otherwise, you're going to just keep continuing to go down. I've got thousands of people in there that can show you how bad it is. And the older you get, without that education, life sucks. I'm telling you. What kind of grades do you make now? So how do you get to be better in school? Really, it's not hard to maintain a 3.0 at B average. It's not. All you have to do is show up, just do a little bit of studying, and you can do it. All I want you to do is study and do and be the best you can. Well, what do you think?
I want her to be the best she can too.
Is a 3.0 unreasonable?
It's not unreasonable. I just don't want to, and I'm being honest, I don't want to set her up for failure. I want her to succeed in everything she does. But I do know what's going on in the school, and I don't want her to not make your requirements.
I want you to do well. I'm going to keep it because I want you to do as best as you can, and I want to use that as like a fire to light it to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do and that you start studying in school. You should look at all the lawyers over here. It truly is amazing, some of the people that we have over here. They're so smart. They're so crafty with their arguments. Knowledge is power. When you know things, you're just better all around, you know? You only get it one way. 2.5
2.5 what?
GPA.
It's better than 3, Judge. I've got two issues. Should she not be able to make whatever requirements the court set and her bond would potentially be revoked, I would probably have to appeal the bond condition because
The only thing I'm going to really get upset with is if you stop going to school and if you stop going to classes, because then I'm just going to go nuts. I'm telling you now, I will go nuts. The other thing is that if you smoke weed, I don't want you to smoke weed. I don't want you to use anything in it. I'm now giving you enough time so that it clears out of your system. Because I'm telling you, if you come back here and you test positive again, it's not going to go well. And I don't care if she's kicking and she's screaming and she's crying and you're doing the same thing. If you continue to smoke, it will not go well for you. Do you understand? My only concern are two in reality. Number one, that she stays in school to get her diploma. Number two, she's not using.
Understood.
And also, don't pick up a new case. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking you to be the best person you can be.
The judge and I use different language. He says don't smoke. What he means is no THC, no CBD in any variety, gummies, vape. Okay.
Already, the legislature's now killing all that stuff, all the Delta 8, Delta 9, all the stuff that you see now. It's all going dodo. Okay, Mom, just if you ever need anything, I'm here for you, for whatever you need, you know? Here's my card. You can always get a hold of me one way or the other. You know, we'll waive the fees, so money's never an issue for anything. I don't care about the money. I care about actions. You can either make the right action or you make the wrong action. Think before you act. Think before you speak. That's it. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Gutierrez Galvan.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Sir, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. You were facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine.
Una multa de $4,000.
You guys have worked on an agreement where they're offering you 3 days in jail with credit for the 2 days that you have done. You need to understand that this DWI will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. Shh. If you ever get pulled over, an officer, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to run your license. They're going to run your history. They will see this DWI. What do you think they're going to do if they see this DWI and they smell alcohol on you?
¿Qué pienso?
What do I think?
I'm asking you, what do you think they're going to do if they see that you have a prior DWI? They pull you over, smell alcohol.
Well, they're gonna arrest me. Oh, you huelen el alcohol.
Sí. Pienso que me van a arrestar.
Well, I think they're gonna arrest me.
That's exactly right.
Exactamente.
What I'm trying to impart to you, Mr. Gutierrez Galvan, is that you should never, ever get into a car, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, because you're almost ensuring a trip back to jail. And I will tell you what we're doing today. From now on, you are facing a minimum of 90 days in jail. Minimum. And if you're not in this country with permission, you go to jail for that time. You will most probably get an immigration detainment. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you are not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, you can never undo this, change this. It will go on your record. It will be there for the rest of your life. Is this what you want to do?
Sí, soy culpable. Sí.
Yes, I am guilty,
You
yes.
plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated, guilty or not guilty?
Culpable or culpable?
Culpable.
Guilty.
I will find you guilty. I will sentence you to 3 days in jail, give you credit for the 2 days that you've done. I am now going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive until you get a license. Tell me what you do for a living, Mr. Gutierrez Galvan.
Oh, manos yardas.
But I cut grass.
How much money do you make a
¿Qué
month?
tanto dinero gana usted al mes?
Pues en este tiempo no crece el zacate, puedo ganar pues unos 1,000 a lo mejor al mes.
Well, right now the grass isn't growing, so I may be able to earn about 1,000 maybe per month.
DWI is big business in Harris County.
El negocio.
Not only does someone die every day on our roads,
Yeah.
but DPS, when you plead guilty to a DWI, issues a surcharge on your license. And if you don't pay it, there are grave consequences. Because this is a first, and because you had a 0.15 or above, the DPS fine is $4,500 that you have to pay. You also have court costs here of around $400 to $500. So you now have around $5,000. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't pay it, for every $100 that you owe, you will sit 1 day in jail.
Un día en la cárcel.
Imagine how long you sit in jail on a $5,000 bill.
Cárcel por una cuenta de $5,000.
Judge, with regards to the mandatory penalty, as he indicates, he's a lawn specialist, and
a lawn specialist.
Even during the best times of the year, my experience is they earn about $2,500. He is a married man. I think his children are grown, but right now, because of the time of year, they earn far less. I would therefore respectfully assert to the court that he is indigent for purposes of that statute and request the court to waive that mandatory fine.
You know, I'm a firm believer, Mr. Gutierrez Galvan, that we all make mistakes. No one, and we're all human. But the idea is that you don't continue to make the mistake where you endanger other people's lives. Number one, I failed to ask, is it true that you had a 0.15 or above in this case?
Más arriba de eso en este caso. Yes.
True, you haven't answered. So what I'm trying to tell you is I will take off that fine and fee for you now, Mr. Galvan. But if in the future you are not smart enough to consider how to get home on the night of drinking and you act like a little child, I will treat you like a little child and I will put you over my knee and spank you like a little child. But I will do it with a ton of jail time and a ton of fines and fees. And I'm going to tell you now that a second DWI is a $6,000 surcharge that you will have to pay, not to mention court costs of around another $500. So you can expect a lot to pay, not to mention the minimum of 90 days in jail. So if you want to drink, if you want to get loaded, if you want to have 52 shots of tequila, don't drive. Take an Uber. Do you understand?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
This will not happen again?
No va a ocurrir otra vez.
No.
No.
All right. How do you plead to the offense, guilty or not guilty?
Culpable.
Guilty.
I'll find you guilty. I will send you to the agreement. I'm going to waive your fines and fees, and good luck to you, Mr. Galvan.
Castillo, horarios y buena suerte a usted, señor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
I want you to look at me. Hear me clear. You ever test positive for something again, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Do you understand me? I don't care what it is. I don't care how long it lasts. I don't care how minute it is, the sample. But if I find another positive, I don't care what it is, I'm going to keep you with me. Do you understand? There's no excuse. All right. So you set this case for trial?
We'd like to send for trial, Judge.
Okay. I want the first available trial setting because it's just too much drama.
I agree, Judge.
Okay, done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Good morning, Mr. Wyckoff.
Good morning.
I asked you one thing, two things, technically. Don't pick up a new case and stay clean.
So,
You've not done that. You repeatedly use over and over. You tested positive for cocaine on when? I sent you for a drug test today. Tested positive for marijuana. What else?
Just marijuana.
Just marijuana. When in prior tests, you didn't test positive for marijuana. So you are now using that as well. What am I supposed to do, Mr. Wyckoff?
I can't tell you now what to do. I mean, I ate some gummies. I messed up.
I'm sorry. I got to take you in. I don't know what else I can do, you know? Joseph, do you have anything to add?
Judge, I don't know. I admonished Mr. Wyckoff early on about, the strictness of his bond conditions and not to use any illegal substances. And I'm not quite sure where the disconnect came from, but he's, had that positive test. And then you say you tested positive today as well?
Yeah. And the thing is that I would venture a guess that of all the cases that you have and that you've had with us since 2011, how much have been involved because of this one way or the other. When you get clean, good things happen. But I can't. I got to take you in. It goes with you. All right.
I'm gonna get a bond.
Of course, I will. I'm going to set your bond at 5,001. Okay. All right.
So Judge, defense and I came to we came to an agreement, Judge. We're gonna be doing PTI, based on my conversation with the complainant just yesterday or the day before. I think that's the best route to go.
Okay. I'm in your hands. However you want to handle this. The only thing is, I'm not keeping it open forever. It's 300 days. She's been MIA forever. Come up, Miss Randon. What have you offered?
Defense is saying I gave them 1 month. Defense is saying he can. I mean, I'll let you speak.
Right.
What are the conditions that you want? I guess
She's taking two 2-hour classes. So it's 4 hours total.
Okay.
And so I was going to ask.
2 classes?
Yeah, that's it.
Great. I'll give you a week. I mean, all you need to do 2 classes is 4 hours. Find in a week to do it. If you don't, I'm giving you a 10-day trial set.
Your Honor, I will not be here Friday, the 13th for, I don't want to work on Friday.
We wouldn't set it for that day, so.
Could we reset? I will not be here that Monday either.
Can you Zoom?
Maybe. I don't know.
What day do you want?
Could I do Tuesday?
Sure. Of course. I'm okay with that.
I was taking off the 13th and the 16th, so.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and Judge, if
Oh, sir.
Tuesday is what I would ask.
If you're not done by that time, it's over. You understand me? There's absolutely no excuse why you can't get 2-hour classes done within the next 2 weeks. There's just no excuse.
I'll have it done this weekend.
Okay.
And Judge, I can always dismiss off docket if defense sends me the certification of completion.
And I will.
If you get it done prior to, just get the proof to Mr. Elick. He can get it to them. They will dismiss the case, and you don't even have to come back on that day. But if you don't have it done, get ready for a wild ride. It's not going to be a fun one, too. All right.
I don't know if it'd be that bad.
No. Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
All right, guys.
No, I'm working. Thank you.
Yo, let's take a trip down to H-Town's core, but justice reigns behind the courtroom door. In court number 5, there's a man who presides, Judge David Fleischer, where the law abides. From the gavel to the road, he's holding it down. In the heart of Texas, he's renowned in the town. Balancing the scales, making sure they're even. In his court, truth's the only thing we're believing. Judge Fleischer on the bench, laying down the law. Fair and impartial, rise for court number 5. To the pleas, he hears every voice, ensuring that the system gives a fair choice. From dawn till dusk, he's devoted to the cause, upholding the rights and respecting the law. Judge Fleischer on the bench, laying down the law, fair and impartial, the best you ever saw. Harris County's finest, keeping justice alive. Everybody rise for court number 5. He listens to the pleas, he hears every voice, ensuring that the system gives a fair choice. From dawn till dusk, he's devoted to the cause, upholding the rights and respecting the law. Judge Fleischer on the bench, laying down the law, fair and impartial, the best you ever saw. Harris County's finest, keeping justice alive. Everybody rise for court number 5. In a world of chaos, he's a pillar of order, bringing clarity right across the border. With wisdom and integrity, he leads the way. In his courtroom, justice isn't just a cliche. So here's to the judge who's holding the line, Judge David Fleischer, legend by design. In Harris County Criminal Court, he's the God, making sure that justice will always reside.